moving on to body painting and prosthetics. I did forget to mention when I did my makeup that you can use a white eyeliner to make your eyes look bigger, simply by doing it right in your waterline. This is a sensory overload for a lot of people. If you do makeup often, if you do your membrane linings, mucosal, there's a word for it. It's very tickly at first. I need to sharpen this bad boy, but NYX, what are they called? Jumbo eye pencils. They're well known for going on very smooth and lasting a long time. So that just makes your eyes look bigger because it makes it look like there's more white. So with prosthetics, you might choose to do ears. You might choose to do a nose. If you do choose to use them, just remember, keep in mind how long is it going to take you to put them on, and then hiding edges. Ears is going to be kind of hard for me to show you. I don't really know how to work that angle, but when you put them on, is this the right ear? You put them over your ear. You're probably going to want to use some spirit gum or liquid latex. So you want to fit them on. And where you're going to have an issue with hiding is right where it attaches right here, and also at the back down here. A lot of people will use ear puffs to hide that. Samantha Lorenz, when she was Prick the Fairy, she just took a little strip of like a leaf, and she would use spirit gum and do that. And that worked really well for her character. So there's some really simple solutions to that. If you don't have time to fully expert professional makeup, movie quality makeup, I mean, this is fast. we don't have to go that far. I picked up this. It's like a bunny / feline prosthetic. I've never actually put this on. So what's nice about this one is it has nostril holes, so you will be able to breathe if you wear it. Some prosthetics, especially noses, most of them I would say, they don't have that. So keep in mind that if you're going to be putting something that's going to go over your entire nose versus just towards the point, you're going to become a mouth breather. Something I recommend if you're using a nose prosthetic that does cover your entire nose is to put a few like cotton balls in there, so that if you do accidentally breathe in, number one, you're not going to breathe in the whole cotton ball, so that's fine. But you won't have that plastic bag situation where you breathe out and it goes out, and you breathe in and it goes up. I've done it with a mask, so it'll happen with a prosthetic that's glued to your face. So the number one thing when you are dealing with prosthetics is having a clean surface area to start. So I'm going to quickly just use one of my makeup wipes and take off my makeup from these areas. Aha, the truth comes out. There is human underneath the fairy makeup. And since I've never worn this one, I'm going, ow, took out my nose ring. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of feeling like that's a look. Like, that's definitely not normal. Let me make sure I'm dry. When I did my ears my first season, I didn't have ears that went over my ears. I had the kind that were like an ear cuff, and I still adhered my ear to them. I would just glue the back of my ear to where they sat, and then I would glue the little part that went behind my ear to the back of my earlobe. Just so if I moved wrong or if I knocked it, they wouldn't fall off right in front of a patron. So that's another thing to consider, is to get it on there well. I like to use spirit gum. Doesn't have to be the Mayron brand. Mayron is it's known to be a better brand, but you can get stuff from Party City. It'll essentially do the same thing. Part about this one that I'm not positive about is this little, I think I'm supposed to glue that down. So anywhere that's going to be touching your skin, you want to put some of the spirit gum on. You can also use, if you don't have a latex allergy, you can use just latex and not spirit gum. There's another skin adhesive called Prosade, which I've never personally worked with, but a lot of people choose to use that. You can basically do anything as far as prosthetics goes with the Prosade that you could also do with the latex. So something to keep in mind if you do have an allergy, to look into Prosade. So I'm just painting this on. And then you should also put the spirit gum or latex or Prosade on your skin where the prosthetic is going to go. So I'm going to kind of do, okay. All right, now I know about where to put it. Spirit gum gets sticky when it's ready to be applied. Some people do a tapping. The tapping doesn't actually dry, like it doesn't activate spirit gum like a lot of people think it does. It just kind of lets you know, like you feel that it's sticky now. But it's not actually like required to activate it in any way. So once you're sticky, I think I need a little longer. I might use my fan and help dry it. Because if it's not sticky, it's going to just be sliding around and then you're just going to be holding it on until it gets sticky. So that's why. Okay, yep, we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and try to line this up with my nose holes. Okay. Oh, it's so nice that I can breathe with this on. Okay, which is good to know because I did buy this intending to use it for a costume that I didn't get to wear it because of the COVIDs. So this corner is being a little bit of an issue. So, all right, phase 1 complete. So now comes into the hiding of the edges. I'm gonna see if I can. I acted like it's okay. It's not okay. All right. I think it's about the best I'm going to get for that corner. It's just not a high quality. I bought the cheapest one I could find, if I'm being honest, because I didn't know if I was ever actually going to use it. So now for hiding edges, again, you can use Prosade or you can use liquid latex. If you have really, really rough edges, you can use small amounts of like tissue paper, even toilet paper could work. And you would just use the latex and wet the area, lay the sheet over the seam going onto your skin, and wet it again with the latex. And that would help blend out that edge even more. It probably won't be a problem. So you take your liquid latex or your Prosade and you kind of just roll it out. And it's just going to help fill up. Oh, my eyes are not liking this latex. I do not have an allergy, but I've never worked with this brand before. Typically, it's the cheap brands that'll do this to you. But this is, I bought this brand because it's a better brand, according to people who use it regularly. But my eyes are, once it's dry, it won't be a problem. But definitely very, very strong for my eyes. So yep, anywhere you have an edge, you're just going to roll it. And you might have to do more than one coat, again, of this to help blend that edge. This is just the general, oh, I hit a sticky spot. Roll it out. And you go all the way around. So I'm going to go all the way around and then I will be right back. I did have some trouble on this side. I did about 4 coats and I still have that line. That would be an area that if I was going to do this, I would probably try some of the tissue paper trick, but since this is just an application tutorial, I'm not going to do that. this side blended out pretty well. And then I had another trouble spot on my nose here. So that took about 4 layers. You do have to let it dry in between each layer. Time adds up. So that's really something you have to consider if you do want to do any sort of prosthetic every day. Some are easier to apply than others. There are foam prosthetics, which are known to be a little bit better than this hollow form. Like I said, I got just a really cheap one that I knew would go on the front of my face just to kind of talk about spirit gum and latex. I did mention in the last video that if you wanted to look older versus younger, that there's some things you can do. The trick for that, I'm trying to decide which, maybe I'll do this side. Let me wipe off the makeup a little bit over here. Is to pull your skin really tight and hold it tight after, like, so you pull your skin tight, you apply latex. I think you can use school glue for this if you have a latex allergy, but you pull your skin really tight and then apply the latex, and you continue to hold your skin really tight until the latex is all the way dry. Then when you let go, your skin goes back into place, but that latex that wasn't there and doesn't move with your skin will create the wrinkles. I've seen there's a lot of ways you can do this, but so pull really tight to have on some latex. Pull really tight. And we'll let that dry, and then we'll do another layer. Let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna go in. I'll try to try this. Can you see any of that? Let me try another area. Where can I do it that you'll see? I don't have a lot of wrinkles. I'm not bragging. But let me here. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Okay. So I'm going to go right here. Really tight. don't get your finger in the latex. Okay. Can you see that compared to... I can't tell if that's showing up. Yeah, you can see it. You can definitely see it. And that would be emphasized more too with makeup. But yeah, actually, it's hard to tell with the phone camera, but up close you can see the texture. It's not extreme wrinkles, but the tighter you pull your skin and the more layers of latex you do, the more wrinkles that you'll get. So if that's the route you want to go, that's how you do it. All right, so now that I have this prosthetic on, and I keep doing the sniffles now. It's so funny. It's like I have nose holes, but I feel like I feel like I'm talking through my nose. I'm gonna take off pretty much all of this makeup. I'm gonna try really hard not to. Probably should have done this before I put on this prosthetic because I don't want to mess it up. Because I want to get into the face painting part. And some of this I'm going to paint right back on, but I want to get at least like the bold lines off so that I have less black to try to cover with white. This side should be okay. So for face painting, or any sort of design that you're thinking about doing, again, you have to think about, is it gonna last? We don't recommend grease paint because it's terrible, and it's really bad for your skin. Cream paint is okay. I like watercolor paint. The only problem with water-based body paints is they're water-based. So that means that they're activated with water. So you use water to put them on, you can use water to take them off. So sweat and rain are a factor with this. You can use alcohol activated paints. Those should be okay through rain and sweat. But I personally never use them. From what I understand, the process of using alcohol activated paints is the same as using water activated paints. You just use alcohol, and it has to be a certain percentage. So if you do go that route, read the recommendations for the brand you buy. But basically, the more water you put in a water activated paint, the lighter the color, the more of a wash it's going to be. And same with the alcohol. The more alcohol you add, the lighter it's going to be. So you want it to, if you want it to be more condensed, you want to put just a little bit of water. So right now, I had a nicer palette, but I have no idea where it is. Probably somewhere in my storage unit from when I moved. So I just have like the cheap face painting at your kid's birthday party body paints right now. So where did I put? Oh, Lord help me. Oh, here we go. I like to use plain old paintbrushes when I do this. Smoother brushes for smoother lines. When I'm doing like cat looks, like I did my Harry Potter half transformed into a cat polyjuice potion look. I did my friend's lion, tiger, there's a difference. You use more of a coarse brush that has multiple lengths of fibers. Technique is basically dry brushing if you ever do art. But to get started, you want to take your sponge. These things, they come with one like this. This works fine, but if you're doing more than one color, it's nice to have extras, so I just have a few of these makeup sponges. And I'm just going to dip the sponge directly into a little bowl of water and then into my color and get that going on the sponge. And this part is very similar to just doing foundation. You're going to get it wet and you're going to just start covering your skin. When you're doing a full face look, typically you're going to be working in layers, especially if you're going for something that looks like hair, because that just adds depth. So if I did just one row or one layer of stripes, it's going to look painted on. Whereas if you do multiple layers, it's going to look slightly more real, which is what a lot of times people are going for. and I've never done this over a prosthetic before. With this prosthetic, if you choose to do one like this, something to keep in mind is, do you want to go full animal, or do you want to look like a human that's somewhere in between human and animal? So you can leave that flesh color and go over it with your foundation instead of a color. Okay, so now that I look like half of a pumpkin, I can let that dry a little, and I'm just gonna kind of do some wispies with the sponge. It's good to have a reference picture too if you're doing more of a character based on an animal. You could cover up your eyebrows before you do this. The technique for that is a glue stick and powder. There's a lot of videos on how to do that if you are trying to block out your eyebrows. Very popular with like drag. But you use the glue stick, you do thick layers in your eyebrows, brushing your eyebrow hair up, and then powder, and let it all dry, and you do multiple layers until you can't really see that your eyebrows exist. Some people that really like to do their eyebrows a certain way just shave their eyebrows off completely. I'm not committed, so I'm not doing that. So for a tiger look, you want to have white around your eye. And I do this really patchy at first just to kind of get my base colors. And then I go back and I do a better job. And then you do a little bit towards your chin area. And you can always adjust this. So like I want to go up a little higher, make me look more like I'm thinking. Alcohol-based paints, if you do go that route, something to keep in mind also is how it's going to feel with the fumes near your eyes. It's probably going to be really difficult to work with by your eyes. But you could use eyeshadows in that area instead. And I'm not looking at a picture, so I'm kind of doing this from memory of what a tiger looks like. So forgive me if I'm not quite where we should be. Pull out a couple more brushes. Let me see. I'm going to want definitely this guy. I really like that the big brush. It helps me cover a lot of area at a time. But I'm going to pull out some smaller ones as well. I need to restock on my really fine brushes, but I'll pull this one out to do a couple whiskers and these guys here. Whoopsies. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go and I'm going to start with white and I'm going to do some hair strokes. So I'm very, very lightly wetting my brush. Because I want this to show up really well, I'm not putting a lot of water at a time. You can always add more water as you go if it dries up, but it's more of a pain in the rump to get rid of water. So just little strokes. And how that's adding more dense little lines coming out. And I'll go back and forth between the orange and the white until I have the desired look. I will also add a little bit of brown. Cover my lip. To add some depth to the orange, so it's not just orange. Can't remember if I did a black lip or a white lip last time. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back in with some orange and make it more orangey. I usually save the black for last just because it's less forgiving. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of brown to kind of pre-map out where I want the black to go. I think, actually, you know what, let me switch to a smaller brush for this one. Let's do this guy. Still the same sort of dense brush, but it'll help. So tigers have like, kind of go up and out. Funny thing is, I've done this entire look in less than 10 minutes, but when I'm doing it and people can watch it, suddenly it takes me a long time. Well, I'm gonna miss the prosthetic. Like I said, I've never done that prosthetic before. Actually, that works out really well because I can blend that right into my hairline. That's a nice thing. If you do find any harsh lines, just get your brush a little bit wet and fan it out. To do a couple. Okay, so now I'm going to go back with that bigger brush and do the brown again, but try to get more of the wispy strokes that I had with the red, not the red, with the white and the orange. You will definitely find your favorite brushes as you play around with it. This one, even though it's not at all designed for face painting, is definitely one of my favorites. I hope you guys can see the little marks that it's doing, because it's doing a pretty good job, I think. Okay, so now, like I said, we're going to go back and forth and back and forth. So now that I have my brown, I'm going to go back with the orange to layer it. And this is going to just help it look more organic. Maybe that's the word. All right, I think I'm ready for black. So I'm gonna do the same thing, just do the whole thing over and over again until we get the result we like. You can see right there, that's exactly what I'm talking about, where the how much water you use, because as it dried up, then I went back in, and now I have the more darkness, which just is super fun to play with. Make sure you drag up and down. Okay, so looking at it now, I think I want to do another little row under my cheek. And then I think we need to go back in with the orange again. Let's see if I can get a couple to show up down here. There we go. Okay, so now, last but not least, for this kind of look, you always want to go back in with the white. I shouldn't say last but not least, but you always want to go back with the white and just kind of clean up. And plus, white is such a fun color to get little hairs to show up. Okay. So now all that's left is eyeliner and mascara if you want to use it. For cats, if you want to repeat that inner corner elongation like I had done in the previous video. For a nose, tigers have pink noses, I believe. I do not have pink, so I'm going to try to mix some and go over my nose. The nice thing about water activated paints, they're pretty simple to mix. I think that is the wrong brush choice. Let's use this one. Okay. I definitely colored outside the lines, but you can always cover that right back up with more orange. Okay, let's fix what I mistake. I think I want to go a little bit dark down or farther. Okay. So then we're going to take a little bit of black again. Going to want to color in the nostrils. You can use Q-tips if you can't quite get in there. And then the other thing that I would do is add a couple little texture marks going up the nose. Oh, that's too dark. All right. Whiskers, if you choose to do that. I wish I had a thinner brush. Some people are really good about doing whiskers. You could add some shadowing underneath them to make them look like they're actually coming off of your body. You could use... I don't like the whiskers. I'm going to be completely honest. I do not like them. I think it takes it down to a less believable... I mean, not that I was clearly a tiger before, but you know. Cats have like the random... Too far. Too far. I took it too far. That's okay. So that's pretty much all I know as far as like face painting. More water, less color, less water, more color. Layers. Layers, layers, layers. Super important. Another thing I can show you real quick If you're doing any sort of like scale, you can use like fishnet stocking, and you can use this with eyeshadow or with watercolor, or pretty much any makeup, it'll work. So get ready. We're gonna look like we're gonna go rob a bank. You just put it over your face. You hold it tight. If you're talented enough, you can always hold it just in the one spot you want it, but I'm not talented enough for that. I'm going to use, let's do some blue and green maybe. Get the water going. And we're going to just dab. Just dab on top of the fishnet, and try not to let it move while you're doing this. Alright, let's try some green. And you can do this with eyeshadow, like I said, so you don't have to use any special makeup for this. I think I'm going to go in a little bit with some yellow just to add some sunshine. Just kidding. You can do this in small sections. You can do it on your entire face if you really want to. What I like about this is that it's actually pretty darn fast to do, as you can see. You can cover a lot of ground at a time, and as long as you kind of have an idea of what you're doing, it doesn't take very long. You can do this, and you can put your highlighter on top of it as well, just to give it some sheen. You can use metallic paints to start with. Alright, and then all you do is take it off, and boom, it leaves the mark underneath. So if you're going for more of like a reptilian kind of a look, you can do that as well. Otherwise, you can use your eyeliners or your makeup. You can do as many little swirly swoops as you want. You can do dots on your eyebrows. But honestly, like even with not being very happy with that prosthetic, you can only see it when the light hits it just right. So makeup can definitely benefit having a prosthetic that is being temperamental. I think I am going to paint this lip. Aha! Look at how asymmetrical her face is. There we go. I think that's what we were missing before. All right. So that's pretty much all I have for you. Play with it. If you have questions, ask. I will send some videos. I'll try to find some of my favorite ones from the past of the 3 different makeup artists that I've learned a lot from over the years. So that if you need inspiration or just to learn more about technique, that you'll be able to find that. Thank you. Have fun!